Good evening, Facebook Live. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We welcome you. We welcome you this evening. Welcome, audience. Welcome, Facebook Live. We welcome you this evening to Facebook Live. We welcome you not only to Facebook Live this evening, we welcome you to Zoom. We're going Zoom also this evening, so you can Zoom in tonight on Zoom as well as Facebook Live. So come on in, share, tag, like, invite a friend, invite another single tonight to Facebook Live. We're here in the city of Lufkin, Texas. We're located at 1202 Kane Street, New Zion Temple of Deliverance, where our servants are Bishop Clifford T. Alford and Lady Stephanie Alford. Come on, audience. Facebook Live, give it up for our great leaders in the city of Lufkin, Texas. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in tonight. We have some great topics for you tonight lined up. Tonight we're going to be talking about how do I know he's the right one? Well, we're going to give you some tips that you might can go by tonight that you will know what's the right one. And then we're talking about how do I tell my date that I'm not interested? Then we're going to talk about our dating deal breakers, and then we're going to talk about some love languages. But before we do all of that, we want to introduce our guest tonight. I want to introduce you our guest tonight that's on the stage, Miss Amy Ordaz. Come on, let's give it up for her. We're going to let her have words, and then our other guest that's not visible tonight, she's a Lufkinite all the way from Dallas, Texas, Evangelist Cootie, Betty Cootie. She's with us via Zoom on tonight. You will be able to hear her, but you won't be able to see, so stay tuned on tonight. We're going to let Sister Amy have some words tonight. Come on, Sister Amy, and say something to Facebook Live.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, New Zion, for having me as a special guest. This is my very first singles chat, and I'm very excited, a tad bit nervous, but we're going to let God have his way, amen?
All right, we're getting ready to get into it tonight. Now, tonight, Facebook, if you have questions on tonight and want to be anonymous, you can dial in at 936-366-9555. That's again 936-366-9555. If you want to be anonymous tonight, call us and we will do our best to answer your questions. Well, we're ready to get this started, but I need you to invite, I need you to share, I need you to like, I need you to tag. Tag somebody tonight as we get started. So tonight we're going to be talking about our first topic tonight. We're going to talk about, first we want to get into it. Hold on just a minute there for me. Let me get my papers here together. First we want to talk about, last time we were on, we missed the month of January, so we wasn't with you in January. But in December, we had a topic, Sister Amy, talking about re-entering the dating scene.
Okay.
Because some of us has not dated for quite a while, and we gave some tips on re-entering the dating scene. Mm-hmm. So now that you are back in the dating scene and you are dating, we want to talk tonight about how do I know that he's the right one? Okay. You know, once we get back into the dating scene. So we're going to, and then looking at that, we want to talk about some individuals, they are searching too for that perfect soulmate. Well, not perfect because no one is perfect, but they're searching for that soulmate. And I've done some research on that. And the psychologist today says 73% of people believe in the soulmate faith. And 74 believe that one day that they will find that true love. So everyone is looking for true love. Everyone is looking for that soulmate. So Evangelist Cootie, anytime you get ready to chime in, you can go ahead and chime in, but I will be addressing you on some of this tonight. But we're just warming up to get into our topic on tonight. So looking at the soulmate part of it, when we first start back in the dating scene, or we haven't been out in the dating scene, we do want somebody that's our soulmate. Mm-hmm. But in order for, the soulmate, let's define what a soulmate is. A soulmate is someone that just gets you. It's a connection of the mind, the mutual respect and unconditional love and total understanding. So your soulmate is someone that connects with you on every level. That means physical, that mean emotionally and spiritual. A soulmate is really your twin reflection. You know, y'all kind of think alike. You do things alike. So that's what some people are searching for. So your soulmate is that person that is intended to help you carry out your ordained assignment. And then a soulmate is also one who arrives in your life that's going to encourage you, it's going to help you grow and help you get to that destination that God has for you. Sometime in the beginning, soulmate, you might not be that soulmate, but if you have a healthy relationship, that relationship is really healthy, that relationship is positive, it can develop into a soulmate relationship. Sister Amy, do you want to say anything on that?
Well, like you said, compatibility is a key factor. I mean, both of y'all have to walk in alignment. It says how Amos 3:3, how does two walk together unless they agree? I mean, so agreement on where we're going, because the soulmate, if it ends in marriage, it has to manage. Marriage is ministry. That's what I've learned walking with the Lord. So, I mean,
that's correct. Evangelist Kuti, do you want to chime in on that?
Praise the Lord. Amen. Praise God. Yes, a soulmate, praise God, is somebody that just gets you, somebody that you feel compatible with on the not only just a physical level, because when the physical, decay, or when the physical fade, you still got to have some kind of interest. If you want to be with somebody, a soulmate, for like I've seen people like 30, 40, 50 years of marriage, they, that fineness or those those abs and all that, it kind of decrease. It defays out. So you need somebody that's gonna be compatible with you not only physically but spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. You need more to talk about than what you look like. Okay.
All right.
Longevity.
So we're looking for longevity.
Yes.
Somebody gonna stick with me to the end. And when the teeth start falling out, they still with me. When the hair gets thin, they still with me. When the hips ain't got no more dips and no more lips, they still with me.
Bones aching and all.
Bones and all.
Walk with me.
Walk with me.
Yes.
You know, that remind me, there's a picture of a parent and a child. How the parent used to, at one time, lead the child. And as time goes on, the child has to start leading the parents. And that's kind of the way it is. So we might have to lead each other, but we'll get there. But I just want to go off here on something just for a little bit. And I want to tell Facebook on tonight, I know a couple that are soulmates. And I want to let them know tonight that I have been noticing, and that's Bishop and Lady. They're soulmates.
All right.
My bishop and first lady, they're soulmates. I remember one time in a service I ministered, and I went back and I looked at the video, and it was something said, and they was over this way, and both of them hand went up at the same time with the same hand. I said they connected in the spirit. But my leaders, they're soulmates. You can look at them, you can tell they are really soulmates, and that's the kind of relationship, and they mirror that relationship, and they are a great example for other couples. They are great examples. Not just word in that, but it's the truth. All right. So we want to get back to our topic, talking about that soulmate. And like we said, sometimes they might not start out as being soulmates, but over a period of time, they are developed. Like we said, if it's a healthy relationship, a positive relationship, yes, that can be developed later on in that relationship. So that is why it's important to make sure your girlfriend, your boyfriend is truly the right one for you. That you can live with. And I asked the question, what do you have that I can live with forever? So what do you have that I can live with forever? So our first topic, how do I know he or she is the right one for me? Do you have one? Evangelist Kuti, we're going to throw it out to you. How do you know he or she is right for you?
Well, I have a couple. Well, first of all, how I would know that he's the right one for me, after being single for so many years and, then getting back into a relationship, you grow and you know what you want now. Sometimes you get married at a young age, whatever, but when you grow and you get to know yourself, you become whole within yourself. You know what you're looking for. You know what you want. And, well, I first say that being a woman of God, I would seek God and to seek God about him. If I'm you said we're in a relationship now, we entered the dating scene, and we're, together, I would seek God, and I would like to, I want us to have capabilities of being a like-minded, like-spirited, respect. He have to respect me in every way and honor me.
Yes.
We have to be first equally yoked.
All right.
Because I've been there, so I'm not asking for trouble. So he have to be equally yoked. So
all right.
Amen. He have to possess the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians 5:22-23. He have to be meek and long-suffering, loving, sweet, patient, peaceful, gentle, a true gentleman, humble, temperance, self-control. And I would know, we have the same interests in goals in our future in ministry, because ministry important to me. You have to have some kind of some values, same values, same beliefs, and some of the same visions. And you get to know each other, and he just make you feel good, and you love him, and you think about him all the time, and you become close, and you have to continue to seek God, and when those feelings get stronger, he's the one, and it's going to leap in your spirit. Hallelujah. It's like the baby leaped in the lizard. Sometimes there's something to leap in you, you'll know, but you still want to be sure you seek God, and God will release that to you in the due time.
Correct. Sister Amy, do you have?
Well, I agree with Evangelist Betty. I did put down here that God would have put it in your spirit, not your flesh. That's one thing.
Good.
That's
good.
Right there.
That's good.
That, even though regardless of how it looks can be definitely deceiving. I mean, just to seek the Lord and, hey, God, I just want to be sure, because I have made mistakes in the past. I was married before, but I wasn't saved then. Now it's a whole different aspect looking at it now. Amen. That, okay, there's biblical principles and standards and boundaries and that sort. So, I mean, God will definitely assure you on, okay, you won't make a mistake this time.
All right. Bouncer, piggybacking on Evangelist Kuti, she want him to have all the fruits of the Spirit.
Well,
She don't want nothing to have to be added to him, but she want him to have all 9. You want him to come with all 9.
Yes, but what I'm saying, if you date, you get to know him, you want to know, is he the right one? Well, if he portraying all those things, that, hey, look, that's number one, honey.
See,
yes.
And I understand what she's saying, because, I mean, we don't want the form of godliness, but denying the power. So I can understand where the fruits of the Spirit come. She want him to have all 9 and not
all 9. All right. With love being the foundation of that fruit. All right. Love has got to be the foundation, because if you got love, you build the rest on that love. All right. Those are good. And to go on that, yes, we have to have the same values. We have to have the same morals, same beliefs. We've talked about being equally yoked. That is a factor. That is one of the. And like you said, I think we've all been there and done that. We wanted what the eyes saw, but not what was in the heart. Exactly. Kind of like Saul. The people wanted Saul because he was tall and he looked like a king, but he didn't have the heart of a king. They look good, but they don't have the heart after you. Sometimes, ladies, we want that look, that one that look good, but that's not the one for us. But that one over there that don't look good for us, that's the one we just don't want.
Right.
And that's how you have to build relationship, get to know him. And it's not about the looks, but he have the 9 fruits of the Spirit.
He's got the.
He's speaking the word of God. He cover you. He speak life to you. Yes.
All right.
It's not
all right. Yeah, we need a praying man, Evangelist Kuti. I need somebody that can lift me up when I can't get myself lifted up. I need somebody to keep me lifted up. Because we said your soulmate is the one that helps you get you to your assignment. Exactly. And he helps you to grow into what God has you for, and he pushes you on into your future. That's what your soulmate does for you. He picks up that assignment with you, and you picks up his assignment, and then y'all become one in that ministry. So when you're dating, we got to also know each other ministry.
Exactly.
You know, this is my ministry. This is what I do. Then I got to know his ministry. So we got to know what we're signing up for. And Evangelist Kuti, we talked about that. The reason we're prepared for the wedding, but not for the marriage. We was prepared for the wedding because we were decked out. The gown was decked out, the tux, the girls, the guys, the food, everything was decked out. But we wasn't prepared for the marriage because we didn't talk about the expectations that we had of one another. So when I pulled that gown off and he pulled that tux off, where do we go from here?
Right.
You didn't tell me I had to cook every day. You didn't tell me I had to keep the house clean. You didn't tell me I had to go to church with you 24/7. So see, expectations weren't talked about.
Exactly.
All right, and then if they're the right one, they will enhance your relationship with God. They won't pull you away from God, but they will push you towards God. And they will they won't they won't corrupt your character. They'll respect you. They will not ask you to do anything outside of your character. Ungodly, because that's the reason we set boundaries in our dating, so that they know what you stand for and know who you are, so that they won't cross those boundaries. So ladies, if we set boundaries in the dating, now I'm not going to say this is going to work all the time.
In the dating scene.
Some might try to go over those boundaries, but we still have to set those boundaries. Now, if he's the man for you, or if he's a godly man, he won't push past those boundaries. But we know we got some, like you said, that will try to push past those boundaries. They know who you are and they know who you stand for. And they won't try to go over those boundaries. And I think that's the reason we get in trouble sometimes, because we do not set those standards and we do not set those boundaries. Any one of y'all want to piggyback off of that? Evangelist Kuti.
Yes, a man, being a man of integrity, a man of substance, a man of wisdom, a man of love, like I say, meekness, being patient and gentleness, a humble man, a man of self-control. These things, going into relationships. So if those signs are not there, or you don't see that, then those are signs telling you, and you keep seeking God. Well, a man that's of truth, a man that doesn't lie, a man of his word. If he speaks something, he do it. And you look at all those things and say, you're checking things out. He's not doing it just to get your attention or get, like brownie points or whatever. He's doing it because this is who he is.
All right.
This is who he is, and that builds the relationships, and he do things because he loves you, and he do things because he's showing you this is who I am.
And when you do think, when it's natural, that is who you are. You don't have to front. And you can tell when a person is fronting and trying to put on a little good show for you. But I want to tell you something. If you hang around long enough, you're going to eventually see the real person. Because they can't front long.
Yes.
It's going to eventually come out because they can't front long. But like she said, it just comes natural when you who you are. And then another point, I think you already hit on that, Evangelist Kuti. They will honor and respect you. And then and another one, they will get along with your family. And then your family also tell you he's not the one. Family and friends know. So take them to mama, take them to daddy, bring them to church, and take them to the pastor and the first lady. They know you got to go through the elder boards. Yeah. We're gonna take you through the elder boards. You're gonna get an interview. I'm sorry, but it's too late in life to make any more mistakes. But you have to go through the elder board.
Okay.
You got something to say?
No, I mean he will definitely honor and respect the boundaries that you set. And he's not going to go past. If you don't say go past, he will not do it. And it's up to you. If you draw the line, hey, he won't pass it. If that's the man of God that God has for you, if he's a man of God, period, he's going to set the standard because he know if he pass go, he got to deal with God and not you.
And you know what, I want to just say something real quickly. I don't know, getting off or whatever, but we're talking about the standards and the trust and the real man. We're getting to know him, and this the man. Okay, we falling in love if we see this, traits, capabilities, But if he's not the man, and like I said a while ago, that if we see signs of something that's, red flags.
Red flags.
We got to remember this, ladies. set a guard on your heart. Because what I'm trying to say is, if you don't set a guard on your heart, then if you fall fast because you so ready. You fall in love so fast, and then you see these signs that's not right. Well, he'll get better. He'll get better. But those was red flags that telling you something ain't right. Check it out. So we have to guard our heart going into this. But if we can go into it and have our heart guarded, and he's doing these good things, then this is when we can say, I think he's the one. But I'm still seeking God. I still need, a little more sign. Then that's when you can go and introduce him to the family or take him to the pastor and all that kind of stuff, and let your brothers check him out and stuff like that. But we got to guard our heart, because if we don't, if we go into it and then well, I'm too far into it now. It's been 2 years, and I don't put too much time in it, and you already know he's not who he say he is. So we have to guard our heart.
That's good, Evangelist Coochie, and I believe we talked about that on one setting too. And that's good about guarding your heart and then going on go. Bishop-elect Farlow talked to us about that when we talked about what men are looking for in a woman. And he told us that women, we come on go. He told us that we came on go, and that we need to slow down. We were so ready. We need to slow down, and we came on go. And that's a good way. When you come on go, so ready, your heart is open, and you, like she said, you see the red flags, but then you ignore those red flags and you keep going past those red flags. You are setting yourself up to get hurt.
Yes.
But on the other note, when you know something is not right, we talked about this here, it's best you get out of it now and cry than stay in it and cry later.
Yes.
Either way you go, you gonna cry. So it's best you get out of it now.
Yes, I had
before
a young
you
lady.
get too deep in it.
Yes, I had a young lady ask me. She saw a picture a while back, and she said, "Girl, why you didn't close your eyes on that picture when you gave him a kiss?" And I said to myself, I didn't want to miss anything that I would have to tolerate later.
Well,
you see,
all right.
Because you can, because you can be blinded just by, I don't care how passionate it is.
Yes.
But you don't want to miss anything that you would have to tolerate later. Just like Evangelist said, we don't want to be blinded by the gifts or whatever. I'm going past it, but
that's okay.
The gifts and everything, because we have some out there that know manipulation is a goal for them.
Exactly.
And that's things that we have to look for as well.
Exactly. And that's another one that I had listed. They won't lie and try to manipulate you. They won't be a liability, but they will be an asset. It won't be anybody that you have to carry around. And then I believe Evangelist Cloutier, you might have said he will practice what he preach.
Exactly.
And if he says he's going to
man
do
of
it,
his word.
He's a man of his word, and he will love you unconditionally. And then on another note there, he is someone that would be with you when he's seen you at your worst. Now, he's seen you at your worst. He's seen you at your worst, but he was still there. Do you have any else things, Sister Amy or Evangelist Cootie?
Oh, no, I'm
Before
good.
we wrap this one up and go to our next topic. Anything else? Do we have any questions coming from the audience tonight? Facebook, chime in tonight.
Singleness is not as bad as it seems. I hope they chime in, because I really want to see what, other ladies are really wanting to know. Exactly.
We need some participation here tonight, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen. We just not only here for the ladies, we're here for the single men too. But chime in tonight. You got your questions, ask your questions. You want to be anonymous, it's 936-366-9595. Well, that was our first topic, talking about how do we know that he's the right one. And then on Evangelist Cootie, you said something there in the early part of it, that we talk to God about it. Yes, we do talk to God. But ladies, I want you, and God knows what we need. He knows exactly the companion that we need. But I do believe, God, that you can tell God a little bit about him, a little bit, whether you want him tall or short or whatever. I believe you can put it.
He said he'll give us the desires of our heart.
Okay, and see,
I didn't hear you, Evangelist.
He said he will give us the
Desires of our heart. And we have not because we ask not. Is that not the word? We have not because we ask not. He said, ask, and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knocking the door shall be open unto you. So I believe that we can be specific on what we want, because I'm reminded in the Bible when Abraham sent Eliezer to find a wife for Isaac. And Eliezer was specific to God about the lady that he was going to pick for him. He said, this is what I want her to say when I get to the well, because there's going to be others. But this is what I want her to say. Then I'll know she's the one. So God, this is, if you fix him like this for me, and he said this, then I'll know he's the one. All right. Evangelist Kuti or Sister Amy, do y'all have anything else on that topic?
Well, see, I was going to say, she said God knows the desires of our heart. But we still have to be mindful, because the enemy does too. It's all about the falsehood of who someone tries to be. But yeah, God gonna give you the desires of your heart, but you got to be mindful who else knows them.
Exactly. We do have them coming in wolves in sheep clothing, and we do have imposters, right? Amen. Amen. All right.
Spiritual antennas up. Yes.
I didn't hear you, Evangelist.
I said that's why we have to have those spiritual antennas up at all times. Yes, we see God.
That discernment. That discernment. That discernment.
At the end of the day, it's our decision. True. Because God give us the decision. He not gonna just drop him down from heaven. We still have to see God of some things that God can put somebody in your presence. But you got to see if this is who God is sending. Because you got to get to know him. You got to develop a relationship.
All right. All right, Facebook Live. If you have any questions on how do I know he's the right one, since I'm back in the dating scene, you need to hit us up on Facebook. Because now we're going to talk about how do you tell your date that you're not interested. Now, we're in this dating scene. We're dating this person. We've gone out on this date a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 times. And like we've talked about it, you just know in your spirit, no, he's not the right one. So we want to do it in a godly way. How do you tell this date that you're no longer interested? You're out on this date, and you went ahead and went because this is going to be the time that you have to tell him. Now, I want to ask you something, Facebook Live. I want to ask my audience tonight. Do you just ghost him? Shame on y'all, audience. You don't ghost him. Facebook Live audience say you ghost him. You don't go back no more. But no. But you have to tell your date that you're not interested. So, if you want to, go out on that next date. Tell them, I prayed about it, I fasted about it, or whatever you want to say, but I just don't think we're going anywhere.
Be honest.
Be honest.
Don't give anyone any false hope, because
that's on my paper. Don't give false hope.
No false hope. No false hopes. No extra grin and all that. No batting of the eyes. No false hope, because they take it and they run with just the smallest little thing. So no false hope. Be honest.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what I had to. When you're ending something with someone, like she said, you have to disposition yourself like this is serious. That don't leave a doubt or a door open that make them believe that I could get back in, but no, you can't. No false hope, like you said. I don't see us being together. But there's a decent way that we can do it, because you don't want to be ghosted. Have you been ghosted, Facebook? Have you been ghosted, audience? You went out one time and they didn't call you anymore or tell you anything. Don't ghost them. Just tell them in a nice way. Be honest up front. I don't think we compatible. I don't think we right for one another. Come on, Evangelist.
Well, on that note, you guys had some of what I had wrote down. You said, do I ghost him? Do I text him? Do I call him? Or do you meet him? Well, first, it depends on how you're dating, because some people date, they might not be dating long. It might be a long distance. They might be dating, like online, or like, emailing each other. Or they might be, they met each other. It's a long distance relationship. They might text each other because they can't see each other. So it depends on how you're dating. So I would say, if you're dating on, online or something like that, then of course you can not ghost him, but you can, text him and talk about it. online and tell him.
You ghost it when you block it.
You,
You
I
ghost
wouldn't
it
say
when you
block
block it. Yeah, when you block him, delete him from everything. That's ghosting, internet,
That's
social
what
media.
ghosting is.
That's how you
Okay.
do it.
If it's long distance, I believe a phone call would be appropriate.
phone call would be
I would be a
decent.
phone call because one day I
Yeah.
get my phone. Hey, I don't think we can make it.
It's long
Okay.
distance already.
Now I
Um,
went out with you several times, and this is the way you gonna tell me we ain't gonna make it. You could have called me on the phone.
Exactly. Because you know you reap what is up. But anyway, I ain't gonna talk about that. Think about the reason you are not interested. Some reason that you can tell them that, you know, me personally, I would do it in person. If I was dating somebody and I, you know, knew that they just not the one, I would let them know that we're not in the same place in this season, you know. I would say you're a nice person, you know, and be polite to them. Don't be mean about it. Treat them with respect, and make sure to sandwich reject them. What that mean is, sandwich rejection means that you compliment them with the letdown. Okay? And please don't try to push friendship just yet. You know, and I'm going to tell you about an example of what happened to me some years ago when I was still in Lufkin and I dated. It was a friend, you know, that went to school with me, but they had left Lufkin before we graduated years. So I hadn't seen this person for years. So people trying to get me to date, whatever, And they kept on saying, you know, look him up, you know, send me pictures and stuff. You know, I don't even know who this is. I can't remember what it looked like and everything. So what happened was we began to email each other, you know, all the time or whatever, you know, being nice and stuff like that. And then one time, you know, I said, okay, I really did want to, because if the person I thought it was, I'm like, I'm not for sure if I want to, you know. So we went on a date, maybe 2 times, okay? And I knew, I tried to force it because, you know, okay, I want to give it a chance. It's not about the looks. You know, I try to find some qualities in them and stuff like that, you know, some interest. So we talked and everything a few times or whatever, but you know what? And after I seen him, I'm like, oh my God, after everything else I had doubt in my mind, guess what? He reminded me of my uncle. I said, I can't do this. I can't do this. But I didn't tell him that. But what I'm saying is, even after that first time, you know, we dated, he still would text me and stuff like that, email it. And I'm like, I just didn't feel it. But I kept leading him on thinking it's going to be something, which I knew it was going to be something. I kept telling him we can just be friends. You understand what I'm saying? So you don't waste their time and you don't waste your time, because that person can build up feelings.
Yeah.
And you know it's not going to be returned. So don't waste time telling them, stop putting it off. And don't give them no false hope, and just let them know we're not in the same space. We don't have the same interests. And not only that, we have different spirituality going on there. We talked about spiritual stuff. He had a whole different thing going on. And I already knew this ain't going to work. But I tried to let them down easy, and I didn't want to hurt their feelings. But I learned through that.
Yes.
Okay?
You have some sustainment.
Well, I was just going to say that with the rejection part, I don't mind telling someone that I've dated, I want to be friends. Don't like me deeper than just a friend. Get that out of your, you know, you got to be blunt sometimes.
Yeah.
Just tell them, hey, don't like
But you
me.
can't
We're
control
friends.
their feelings.
Huh?
You can't control their heart.
That's true.
Yes.
Sometimes you just have to cut it off.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
just have to cut it, right?
Sometimes you have to cut it
In the
because
mid-
they could be feeling deeper than you.
Exactly.
But then there's space that you give it as you're saying it. That's just me.
And then the meeting in person, I would have to really know them
To meet
really
them.
good to meet them face to face to tell them that, because you said something there. I don't know where they are in their heart, and I don't.
We don't know if they're truly delivered or really bear all the fruits of the Spirit, because when the rejection comes,
Yeah.
it'll switch on you. It'll be
Right.
It
anger.
could.
Something may rise.
Yeah, because we hadn't got to know all about that person, and rejection could be one of their triggers.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
we don't know.
That they can't deal with.
Rejection could be a trigger. So telephone or you know, something like
Email.
that. But
It
email.
started with an email. It
I
started
knew
with
this person. I knew this person personally.
See, she knew him. That's fine. That's what we said. If you know him, that's fine.
Right.
If you really know him. But if I hadn't been out on a date maybe 2 or 3 times with them, I think we need to have a phone conversation to be safe. I don't want to text him, but I want to do a phone conversation. And then you tell, you know, like you said, do it respect. Sorry, but I'm not interested. I'm flattered that you're interested in me. I thank you for the, you know, for the interest, but I just don't think we're compatible. And just let it be that. So right now, ladies, we have some questions. We have a few questions. We have a lot of questions. So let's get to Sister Amy. You want to answer?
How do you tell someone know you're interested in a nice way when you feel they're mature? Their motives aren't right. Okay. How do you let someone know you're not interested in a nice way when you feel that their motives aren't right?
Okay. How do you tell someone that you're interested in
that you're not interested in a nice way?
In a nice way, and you know that their motives are not right.
Because you feel that their motives aren't right.
Okay. Well, you go ahead and answer.
I mean, go with your intuition. Go with your spirit and your mind is telling you. If it's not right, don't even look that way.
Okay. And they asked there, how do you tell somebody you're not interested? And that's what we just talked about.
Right.
They're interested in you, but you're not interested in them because you know they don't have the right motives. It's just like we ended with, I appreciate the interest. I'm flattered that you are interested in me, but I don't have the same interest.
And like Evangelist said, like she said, you know, hey, we're in 2 different areas in our lives. You know, Christ may not be, you know,
where you are,
you know.
Yeah. Well, come on, Evangelist. Did you hear the question?
Yes. If you're not interested in you know they're interested in you. Well, it depends on where you're at and everything too. If you go, well,
they said they said that you're not interested in them and their motives are not right.
I ignore them. I don't give them, you know, I just don't give them no space. You know, I don't give them no room to even try to approach me if I know their motive is not right.
Well, they done already approach you. They done approach you.
How do you let them know in a nice way?
They have approached you. They're interested in you, but you're not interested in them.
Because of their motives.
But you know their motives are not right. So,
well, God bless you, brother. Just God bless you. Maybe, you know, bring up some scriptures about, you know, talk, because they don't want to hear that.
Exactly. That'll get you to running. If you quote the scripture, that'll get them to running. If they
exactly. Yeah. When you know you're not interested, you know, well, you know, it's just like somebody. I don't thank God. I don't give a lot of entertainment on Facebook in my messenger box, but every now and then I get a new friend that they'll, you know, get in my inbox. And number one, disrespect. You gonna text me? I see the text like maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Those are not good intentions. Because I'm a woman of God. Because all I put out there is who I am. You know. So what I do with stuff like that, I don't entertain it. I don't say nothing. I just leave it there. And guess what? It go away.
All right.
You just gotta not entertain it at all. Don't give it no attention.
All right. Well, I hope we answered your question on how.
Don't entertain it. If you see that his motives aren't right, you just don't entertain it.
They're interested in them, but they're not interested in that person.
Because they know of their motives.
Motives are not right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like you said, just tell them thank you, but not interested. And I think that's really nice. Thank you, but I'm not interested. All right. Our next one is, how do you know when you're really ready for dating? I wish this person had been on our last Facebook Live, Are You Ready for Love? Come on, audience. Are you ready for love? Some of us took the test, and well, someone ready for love. But it said, how do you know when you are ready for dating? Ready to date. Evangelist, you want to take that? How do you know that you're ready to date? But first of all, let's go back to the reason that we date. We date really for marriage. We don't date out of loneliness.
Yeah.
We don't date out of loneliness. We don't date out of discontentment. We don't date because our time clock is ticking. But we date with a motive. Our saying here at the temple is we date with a purpose. And our purpose is for marriage.
And on that note, now what she was saying, that question, they asked about if you're not interested and they approaching you but the wrong motive still. But the reason we date is, that we don't, if you know that their motive is something else, you just not interested because they're not potential marriage potential. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. But this is another question.
You don't entertain that. You don't date for convenience.
Right. Exactly. But this person wants to know, how do they know that they're ready to date? When you first off, you got to be complete in yourself. Ain't that right, audience? We talked about that.
Right.
You got to be complete in yourself. Know who you are. Know where you going. Know where you want. You have to be whole. We talked about you can't date on a rebound.
Right.
You can't date in discontentment, but you have to be done allow God to deal with you. And in the season that we're in as being single, we are allowing God to prepare us. He's not only preparing us for the man of God, but he's preparing us to get in the dating field too. Because we all are sitting here that we've learned lessons how to do it now. We know we don't date the way we used to date. We don't choose the way we used to choose. We don't do any of that the way. So when we get back in the dating scene, we're going back in with a different mindset, with different views, with different values, with different morals, with different standards. We're going back in it with all of that. But to know that you are ready is that when you know that God, you have allowed God to get you ready. I'm over Johnny and Sam. They're no longer part of my life. I've been delivered from that. I have a goal in front of me. I know where I'm going, and I am complete in God. And one last thing, I'm not needy.
Right.
I read this from a great man of God. Because, see, I can be here at home and be content, or I can be on a date and be content.
Right.
I'm like Paul. I'm twisting between. Either way I go, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. But you have to let God allow you to get you ready.
Yes.
Sister Amy, you got something? Evangelist, you want to say something on that?
Yes, I was going to talk about you got to seek a whole life as a single life. You got to seek a whole life. You got to love yourself first.
Exactly.
Yes.
Self-love.
You got to love yourself first. You got to do self-care. You got to do self-awareness on you. You got to heal from past pain and those that hurt you because you don't want to take it into the new relationship and you're not ready. But
That's
you got
right.
to know you're ready. You have to leave the past in the past.
That's right. That's what it said.
Go ahead.
We have to let God make us whole. And it was this great man of God that I listened to, and he said that when you don't want to be married, you're halfway there. But when you want to be married all the time, you're not there because you're still too needy.
Oh.
And we don't get out. Now when we do date for marriage, but we talked about why we marry too. We don't marry because he gonna put a big ring on my hand, he gonna buy me a house, he gonna help me pay some of these bills. Wrong motives. We got to marry for the right motives, and we got to date for the right motives. So take our time, let God complete us, doing us what he's going to do, make us whole. Yes. And when you get out there, you got to be whole. You got to be a whole being, not half, but whole. So let
God complete you.
On that, talking about being whole and everything, and let the peace of God, he will guard your heart and your mind. And, we have some, I ain't gonna say silly women, but silly women and women that, like you said, needy, that they're not there yet, they're not whole yet, because when, I don't need a man. I don't just get giddy or get giddy or just melt when a man tell me I'm beautiful, or a man make like smile at me or tell you all these kind of things. You're not ready yet, because you feel like you need that from a man, and then you'll fall for that. You're in your emotions. You know what I'm saying? He might not even be the right man, but
that's right.
We got to be whole within ourselves, in our spirit, in our mind. We got to be whole, being single.
See,
you don't worry about getting compliments from people, whatever. You got to be content with yourself.
Exactly.
Well, I always said, like with the compliments, and men would come and compliment me. I said, well, tell me something I don't know. Tell me, see, because that means you have to dig a little deeper to see who I am. This and that. Tell me something I don't know.
Because see, we have to learn how to be happy all by ourselves.
Yes.
We have to learn how to have a good life all by ourselves. You're a working woman. You have to be happy with yourself, because you telling me that I might look nice. I already think I look nice.
Right.
Because if I don't think I look nice, who else gonna tell me I don't? So the song says sometimes we got to encourage ourselves.
Yes.
Ladies, we have to keep ourselves up.
Yes.
Whether anybody is complimenting me or not, I don't do it to get a compliment. I do it for me.
Yes.
I do it for me. I keep myself up for me.
Yeah, because I love me.
I love me. And I tell
It's
me,
that simple.
you look good today, girl.
Yes.
So whether you tell me or not.
Exactly.
You didn't stir my cereals that much. Like you said, Sister Amy, tell me something else.
Tell me something I don't.
Because I came out with intent to look good.
Yes.
I'm glad I caught your eye.
Exactly. I tell some of the young ladies that I do come in contact with that been hurt, hey, you deserve better in this area, I said, but look in the mirror and tell yourself who you are. No one is going to give you affirmation more than yourself.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
tell yourself who you are.
Our next question, it says, what's too late on the phone after hours of visitation at one's house? Well, we had a session. You want me to read it again so you can hear it? It said, what's too late on the phone after hours of visitation at one's house? So I'm assuming that they're dating, talking about being on the phone. We had a sessions where we talked about hookups, if it was whether it was a date or whether it was a hookup. Now we know if it's a hookup, what kind of call it is.
Yeah.
It's a booty call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. When they start ringing your phone late at night, be mindful.
They don't want to pray.
Guard your heart.
Yes.
Sister Amy said they didn't call you for a scripture and they didn't call you for prayer. So
there's that motive. There's that motive that will not have you interested or shouldn't have you interested.
And this going to a man's house, take your time, because that's his kingdom. You on his turf.
His domain.
That's his domain. And when you enter there, that's his spirit there.
Yes.
So be careful. You got to know him before you go to his house.
Right.
And you got to know him pretty well, because you on his turf.
So he's the one.
Evangelist?
That's when you really know he's the one.
When you start going to the house. But early on, I don't think that you need to go, and you do need to have some cutoff hours.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You need to have some cutoff hours. If you know and he the one, we still have to be respectful of one another.
Yes.
And I would go at deep.
Even just in general, just going to his house. I don't care if it's in the morning or what day or whatever. I'm just saying I wouldn't be going to his house if I didn't think he was the one.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
But there is certain
So
time,
this
yes.
relation has progressed. Yes, I see what you're saying. But right off, I don't recommend it. Come on, Sister Amy.
And it depends on how long on the phone. I mean, you can't talk about too much, because a person, he or she, could want to talk just to see who you are, the values that you have, and try to copycat. I mean, I would say to talk on the phone maybe 30 minutes, hour the most.
And what hour would you recommend we do that at? Midnight, 11 o'clock?
I mean, y'all work. So somebody got to go to bed and get up in the morning. So, I mean, if you're working, I would say, and if you're a mother, single mother, hey, 8:30, hey, you know, it's time that you.
Anything after midnight is too late. Anything after 11.
You got to realize, ladies, they grown. Are they grown or they teenagers? Because, you know.
I don't know the age group. They just want to know what's too late to be on the phone to be visiting
after 12 o'clock.
Or to be visiting at this person's house. You shouldn't be at this person's house at midnight unless y'all getting ready to get married.
Telephone.
Oh, the telephone?
Yeah.
I would say probably about 10:30.
Well, I know it's first you were saying 8 o'clock. I'm just saying.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah,
well, see,
okay.
As for myself, single mother, my children are small, and I got to be starting a schedule. That's just me, so it won't be any interruptions with their.
And we have to consider too if we're single ladies with children. Mm-hmm. We have to consider that too if we're single ladies with children. But I would say 10, 11 o'clock. But after midnight, you should not be at nobody else's house unless this is the person you're getting ready to marry.
I thought we were talking about the phone.
No, they said at the house too. Mm-hmm. They said what's the hour that you should be visiting, not after midnight.
Okay.
So our next question: what do you do when they don't take the dismiss serious and they continue to make themselves seem like when they won't let go and they won't move on? Come on, Sister Amy.
Yeah. Go to the laws. Because it's serious. It's just, hey, you're going to have to you got to set some boundaries. Don't go past go. And if he feel that he wants to pursue it, hey, we're going to have to get some authorities. That's what they're there for, 911. I'm telling you one time, please don't like me. Don't like me because we don't want it to get physical to where you'll harm yourself.
Exactly. And you know, the times that we're in now, Facebook Live, audience, Zoom, we don't know a person's mind anymore. Mm-mm. And some people become possessed with you.
Yes,
and some people got rejection and abandonment problems.
Uh-huh.
So I agree with you.
Yes,
if they keep and it can get to where the point they be stalking you.
Exactly.
And some people don't know how to be let down, be rejected, or be abandoned. I deal with it. Mm-hmm. And they have issues. Mm-hmm. And they can't let go because they're holding on to you. So
someone will literally get harmed. Not, you know, like you say, just stop. I've been stalked. That's how I know. I can't drive up on my job without somebody's car flying behind me. They jumping out. Hey.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking for a weapon. I'm going to be honest, because if this dude come to me, I'm fixing to protect me because I love me.
So we do have to stop it. Once we have said it's over and you keep coming back and you don't want to move on, then we're going to have to get somebody else involved in it, because I've told you guys that, you know, before we get to anything else. Okay.
And reject the flowers and the candy and I'm sorries. You can only get too many I'm sorries before something really happens, you know.
How would you tell them if you know that they may be overly emotionally crying and screaming and anything?
Is this a man or a woman?
I don't know the agenda. But we said that earlier, that it would not probably be, if you feel that once you're going to tell them that you don't want to date them, if you feel that's going to be their reaction, you need to tell them on the telephone. And once you tell them, you hang that phone up and don't let them scream and holler.
By themselves, because they're not ready for no dating. I'm not going to
worry about you screaming and hollering. Yeah, so that's the reason I said I don't know we need to do it face to face or not, because, we just tell you on the phone, bruh.
Huh.
We can't talk no more.
Exactly. And then let him, like you say, let him
so
scream
if you want to scream and holler, I'm sorry, but this can't be.
We know he or she is not ready for anything if they still throwing a tantrum.
Exactly. Our next question is, even going to his house and he may seem nice, but could they be studying us to see if we are weak? And then might try to move in? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's his domain. He's the king. He's the lion. And he do, what do the lion do? Do roar.
Yes.
And they do seek out
Exactly.
They pray.
Whom they can
They
devour.
pray. We said earlier in a scene that some men don't pray, they pray. P-R-E-Y.
Yes, yes, yes.
Come on, evangelist. Did you hear that question?
Yes, you guys said it all. My thing of it is, when I'm beginning to date, first of all, I would think we should be meet, like publicly for a while. I wouldn't be going to his house, you know, me personally.
Okay, and then it said going to his house. He seems nice. No, I got to know he's nice. So whoever sent this, don't go. Yeah. Even though going to his house and he seemed nice, why do he want to take you to his house? What has he got he want to show you?
Exactly. That he couldn't show
I
you
got
in
a
public.
house. We don't want to see the house this time. So what do we want to show you? But could they be studying you? Yes, men do study you. Yes, he's out. I work in a place where that's all they have time to do is study you. They study the weak and the strong.
Yes.
That's what they do. We have a word for that, but I'm not going to say it here tonight. But they study you enough to know whether you're a strong one or whether you're a weak one. If I see you're a weak one, I'm going to pray and P-R-E-Y, and then I'll know that I'll be able to manipulate you and get just what I want out of you. So just because they seem nice, no ma'am, don't go to their house, because we're living in a time now that you have to be careful, be watchful, and observant.
Yes.
And know what you're getting. No, we don't know everything, but we can be observant.
Definitely.
And discern. But don't go to their house. You don't have to go to their house, because that could be, you picked it up, they could be setting you up and move in. And then after they move in on you, you can identify them. You might not get up out that house.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So don't go to their house.
But what does a seem nice look like? What does a seem nice look like?
Well, I guess they maybe took you to eat or had real good conversation.
But you could do that yourself.
But it's something underneath that, you might could seem to be a nice person to me, but right now I don't know that, because I really don't know you.
Right. You see, that's what I'm saying, because you don't know. To go to someone's house, that's what I'm saying. He seems nice, so I'm going to go over.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that if I was you.
No.
I wouldn't do that. Well, we hope that we answered your questions, Facebook Live, the best that we could, that it was helpful to you. Now we want to move on to our deal breakers. We want to move on to our deal breakers. Keep sending your questions, and we'll answer your questions. We talk about our dating deal breakers. What are some deal breakers? First, let's talk about what a deal breaker is. There are things that will cause you to call it quits. No matter how long you've been together, deal breakers are things that happens before the marriage. And we did interview about 6 ladies, and they gave us their deal breakers. And then I want to hear from your deal breakers, Facebook Live. And we're going to let Sister Amy and Evangelist Kuti tell us some of their deal breakers. Evangelist Kuti, let us start with you. What are some of your deal breakers?
Some of my deal breakers is, from the beginning, in a relationship, we don't have the same values. We don't have the same spiritual beliefs. You ain't got to be. I would say not deep spiritually, but the beliefs. You know what I'm saying? We have to have the same beliefs. Attraction and chemistry are great. But what happens when looks fade and sparks wear off? So we have to have capability. No, I'm sorry. That's not my thing. Hold on. I'm sorry. Escape. Okay. My deal is, if you're with someone that talks down to you or treats you poorly, when you are having disagreements, when they start talking to you in a certain kind of way, when they get angry or something like that, this is a deal breaker for me. Okay. It's okay for people to get upset. Sometimes, we don't, mean it. What we say something to hurt somebody's feelings. But my deal breaker when people get nasty and forceful in arguments, calling names and stuff like that, don't want to listen. And these traits can lead to the misery in a relationship. These can cause signs of abuse.
True.
Potentially abusive relationships. It should never make you feel unsafe, uncomfortable. And in exiting the relationship should be done with care and wisdom, potentially get help from loved ones. But what I say that is because I have been through abusive relationships. So that is one of my deal breakers. Abusive can be not only physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or sexually.
True. All right.
So that's one of my main deal breakers right there.
Dishonesty.
Okay.
I put the great pretender, the imposter.
All right.
That's just a definite deal breaker. When I find out who you are for real, like you say, you can only pretend so much. And of course, the abuse, the verbal abuse,
Yes.
action-wise and stuff like that. It's some things that a woman or a man just should not be passive. When you see those things, nip it in the bud as quickly as possible. I had to learn that.
Yes.
Like I said, I hadn't been saved all my life.
All right.
So, I mean, to know what to look for, the discernment that God has, because you have to seek the Lord in order to get that type of discernment to say, hey, I'm not going to do this. The minute, I'm a little rough around the edges. Hey, it's just like that. I see this and I don't like it, and I'm done.
All right. Okay.
Right.
Because we're looking for the godly relationship.
Exactly.
You see,
Exactly.
and it's that.
And sometimes
when you're denying that God is that form of godliness, is that what I don't like. I'd rather that you just come and say, I'm just from the hood and I want to holler. Can you help me in any area? And I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? At least, and then I can.
At least they were real.
They were honest of who they were, and then the men of God that I have in my life. Hey, overseer, bishop, apostle. Hey, I got this little dude that's gotta like me. The men that I can trust. Do you mind checking this guy out for me?
All
you know what
right.
I'm saying? Before you put yourself into that. Type
Exactly.
of,
Come on, Evangelist. Did you have something?
Yeah, I was just saying, men like that, deceit, like you say, dishonesty, but deceitful. They appear to be. They have a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. Because like I say, they appear, to be godly or whatever. And then all these other things, you start manifesting and stuff like that. And then, hey, look, red flag. It's not going to work.
Yeah,
That's
when you can dress the part. See me, I mean everybody. Amy, you don't ever dress up. This just me. This just who I am. I'm gonna just be low key. Because you never know who you'll attract being dolled up all the time. I like, a lot of people compliment me on the workout stuff. Hey, it's just me.
All right.
Just, you got to be just who you are.
Exactly. Well, we interviewed 6 ladies, and these are their deal breakers. They don't love God.
Okay,
they don't go to church. No job, and they're lazy. And they don't support their kids if they have kids.
Okay.
They're self-centered, aggressive, needy. They're not truthful. And they interfere with you going to church. So those are some deal breakers.
I agree with all those.
And then another lady we interviewed, it was no relationship with God and too many female friends and profanity. Those are deal breakers in your dating.
Deal breakers, yes.
And then another deal breaker, no relationship with God, desire to engage in sex, dishonest for no reason, not productive, emotionally abusive, verbal abusive, and physical abusive. So those would be some deal breakers in a dating relationship, the lying and the cheating. And another deal breaker, not wanting to commit to the relationship.
Open.
No commitment. We just want to see each other, but I don't want to commit.
But see, that's what the world wants. An open. We just open.
Yes.
Just an open relationship.
But you taking up my time,
exactly.
But you don't want to commit to nothing. Okay, that would be a deal breaker because after so long, you ought to be ready to commit. And then another deal breaker is you keep giving these mixed signals. One day you're loving, and the next week it appears you're not interested.
Right.
You bipolar.
And A double-minded man is unstable
You
in all his
bipolar.
ways. So we
You
ain't gonna
love me
make
this
it.
week, and then next week you're not
Exactly.
interested. That's a deal breaker. And then another deal breaker in a dating relationship, because when you're dating, you might be going somewhere if they don't want children or won't accept your children.
Bye.
Because I got children, and that have to be known up front. And if you don't want my children, you don't want me, because we come
Right.
in a package.
Right?
And I expect for my children, you to love my children the same way you love me. But if you can't do that, bro, deal breaker. Okay. And then another one would be, let's see, don't share the same values, the abuse, and can't get over the ex-girlfriend. You all the time talking about Sally Mae. My name ain't Sally Mae. My
Right.
name is Barbara Ann.
That's true. That's true.
Let me-
And there's never going to be a woman that's going to be like another woman.
Exactly.
We're not twins. My twins aren't twins.
And don't
They're
be
two
looking at
different
me
people.
like I'm her. Don't be saying
Exactly.
I see. No, you don't see me in her. You seeing if you doing all of that, I'm not the one.
Yeah.
You seeing Hattie Mae and me? No. Deal breaker.
Deal breaker.
You still got
definitely.
Hattie Mae on your mind if I'm looking like Hattie Mae.
Deal breaker.
Deal breaker.
Definitely deal breaker.
Now let me ask you this, audience and Facebook Live. Should if the sister don't know how to cook, should that be a deal breaker?
No.
Because she got other qualities. Who gonna teach her? She ought to get her a cookbook and learn how to cook, and you just gonna have to tolerate her till she learn how to cook, because she got other qualities.
You got other qualities.
She just can't cook.
Right. But she can pray.
She might can
She can
pray.
intercede.
All right,
You know, I
but she
mean,
just
hey.
can't cook.
But she can't cook.
But you got to have an understanding.
Culinary school. Hey, if you want to invest in her, hey, that's the way to do it. Send her to culinary school.
All right.
All right.
Everything on YouTube these days.
That's true.
Cook a YouTube meal. Honey, I tried.
If she a good woman, don't let that be an issue.
Don't let the not being able to cook get in
You
the
can
way.
learn to cook.
She can
do
learn to cook.
you
And you know
recipes all
what,
the
y'all?
time.
If we be honest, we all learn how to cook.
Yes.
Now, some of us might have went in knowing how to do it a little better than others, but it was some things we just didn't get right for quite a while.
Right.
It was still trial and error. You might have could have done the rice and the macaroni real good or whatever, real good, but then it was other things that you just know you couldn't get it together.
I still call my mama for certain recipes.
Still
Yeah.
calling her. All right then. All right. Come on Facebook Live. Keep your questions going. We're getting ready now to go to our love language. We got a few minutes here left. We're going to talk about our love languages here tonight. But we want to give you a little understanding about what we're talking about with love languages. And some of you ladies out there in the audience, you've already taken the quiz to identify what your love language is. So Facebook, if you want the quiz, holler at us on Facebook, because you need to know your love language. We've been in the dark too long because relationships don't work because we don't know us. It's something about you that you desire, and that person is not giving it to you, so it's a problem. This is the way you want to be loved. This is the way you want to be appreciated. And it's some out there, you didn't know anything about a love language. You didn't know this, how come y'all wasn't getting along because he didn't do this and do that. But when they understand your love language, that's when you feel appreciated and valued.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Because that is the language that makes you feel that way, that makes you feel appreciated.
And we'll let y'all grow.
Exactly.
Because that's how you
Exactly.
learn one another.
And another thing about the love language, they're not only used in a relationship. You can use those with your children. Every child is different. You might have your son that he have to be affirmed. You might have your daughter, she like physical touch. We're going to talk about all the five love languages tonight. But they're not just used in a relationship or in a marriage, but you use them with your children. Sometimes you say, I just don't know what make that child tick, because you're not meeting them where they are. You're not giving them what they need. And we used to, if they said something, you're not giving your children what they need, we would say, what you mean I'm not giving them what they need? I'm taking care of them. But they have feelings and emotions.
Yes.
And that's the part that's starving to death, and you're not hitting, because you're not telling them that they are great. You're not telling them that they look nice. You're not telling them that they are appreciated. Some people have to be told that. And that's just our makeup. We have nothing to do about that. That's the way God made us.
Yes.
So let's get into it. So both people in a relationship, if you're dating and if you're married, you have to express your love in a way that is meaningful to the other person. But the entire purpose of the love language is that we learn how to love your partner in a way that makes them feel appreciated and makes them feel loved. The love language describes the way we feel and the way we love. An example of a love language, if it's affirmation. If I feel that I'm loved and appreciated with words of affirmation, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel appreciated. So sometimes in relationships, they're not fulfilled because we don't know their love language. We have, and like I said, we took the quiz to identify it. So how can I give you something when I don't know what it is that you need?
That's true.
So we have to learn each other, and we have to learn ourselves. So you can remember, you go around mad all day. They don't appreciate me because that need is not being met. That affirmation is hollering. That quality time is hollering. All that is hollering and is not being fulfilled. So love language not only help us in our relationships, but also with our parenting. We have to know what our children love languages are. Love language help us to understand ourselves better. They help create stronger bonds with our friends, our families, our children, our spouses, or whoever, and they help us to grow closer to one another. And they also help us to date more successfully. So we're going to talk about, and the five love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. You want to take affirmation? Okay, I do affirmation. Okay, affirmation is words that affirm you. It's saying supportive things to your partner, affirming and expressing love with words that build them up. And they make you feel loved and appreciated, and they affirm you. And there are such words as, I love you. That was a nice meal you cooked. You look nice today. I'm blessed because you're in my life. Those are affirmation words that you appreciate that person. So some of y'all took the test out there. And on the test, you have one main love language. And then the rest of them is listed there. But the one that scored the highest, that is your love language. My love language is act of services. You said that you love me, but you got to put some action behind it. Show me that you love me. So when you show an act of service is where you do things for that person. You might go wash the car. You might fill the car up with gas that day. You might pick this up from the store and know that person needed it. But that's the act of services, and that is showing a person that you do appreciate them. Evangelist Cool.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I think we lost it. Go ahead, Sister Amy. You can chime in.
Well,
Are you here?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
well, mine was the quality to write it down, but that's what the
Okay.
highest percentage was just the
so
quality
yours was
time.
quality time. It's time. So that was your highest. So you lack quality time. So you can see the difference that we're throwing out tonight. The difference is at the bottom.
Quality time, it says, depends on what quality time is to you. Spending uninterrupted time together, going for a walk, playing a game. A meal together. I'm gonna learn either way, huh?
All right.
Cooking a meal together, exercising together, watching TV.
That's
watching
quality
television.
time.
That's quality
And so how many times sometime between you and your time with me? Because that's your love language. You need that person to spend quality, uninterrupted time with you. That we didn't know what was causing the confusion, but that's that emotion in you that has to be satisfied. It's that quality time.
I mean, if you're talking about dating, you have to get to know me.
Mm-hmm.
And if sometimes it's everything else around that's going on. You'll never get to know who I am.
And that's the reason sometimes our relationships fail because we don't know one another.
Yeah.
So, you should know that person love language, and that person should know your love language. And you all know how to appreciate one another. You know that he like to be told, that he like affirmation. He know that you like quality time. So that brings a bond there. And then the next one would be receiving of gifts. Now, are you back, Evangelist?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We're talking about the love languages. Do you want to chime in on that?
Yes, my highest score was 30% quality time, 27% acts of service, 23% words of affirmation, receiving gifts 7% physical touch. Do I need to read it?
The highest is your love language.
Yes, 30 quality time.
Yes, you like quality time.
I like spending time with people that I love. It don't have to be nowhere fancy. Just spending quality time doing something they like. They might play golf. I like to play. I like to go bowling or whatever. I like to go shopping. I like to travel. Just spending quality time. Just going to the movie, going out to eat. Sitting home, doing nothing, maybe doing something, just spending time. I like quality time.
And sometimes that quality time can shift over to something that they got to do. I'll just go with you that day so you can go do what you do. Just, it's just quality time. Okay.
Quality time.
And then the next one, we want to get to the next one. I think the the receiving of the gifts. Go ahead and do that one, Sister Amy.
Giving your partner gifts that tell them. If your top love language is receiving gifts, that means you feel love from all those small presents that your partner gets you. Now, many people may assume receiving gifts is materialistic and all about the items, but not necessarily true.
It's not.
But that isn't necessarily
It's not
true.
necessarily true about the gifts. Because you give gifts is showing it because you love them. This is February? This is the love month. So we share gifts in the love month. So we give gifts to show people that we appreciate them. We give gifts at Christmas to show people that we appreciate them and that we love them. That is just your love language. You like to receive gifts, and it makes you feel good when you get them. But you're not materialistic.
Yeah. You see, and I'm not a very materialistic person because I don't want to be blinded. Right. I don't want to be blinded behind it. You got to be careful not to be blinded behind the blessing. We see it as blessings. We say gifts, but yet, we see ourselves as being blessed. But I don't want to be blinded by that.
Oh, okay. All right. But you have to know your love language.
Exactly. See, now
That's
I know.
not my love language. All right. So you can receive the gift. And then the last love language is physical touch. How many of us have said sometime, "Ooh, they too touchy"? Have you said that before? Some people like to touch, and you're a person that don't like to touch. But that is their love language. They like to touch. Even in conversation, they put their hands on you, or whatever. But they are huggers. They are huggers. All of that. But now for the single people, we can hold hands or stuff like that. But now the married people, y'all can get some massages and some foot rubs. And all that kind of stuff, if you like the physical touch. But some people are just not, they touch too much, and I believe my son, I believe that's his, because he likes to hug. He's a hugger, and I believe that's his love language because he likes to embrace, So some people likes to embrace, some people are hugger. Do you have anything you want to add to that? Nothing? Evangelist, do you want to add anything to the 5 love languages?
No.
Okay. All right, audience. We got a few minutes. We need to hear from y'all. What were y'all love languages? Come on. What was your main love language? And I want to ask, did that help you? Did that help to know your love language? Did you know it before you took the quiz?
I
did.
Who said I did?
Me.
Oh, okay. You knew what yours was before you took the quiz? Okay. Right. Anybody else know your love language before you took the quiz?
I didn't know what my love language was.
Okay.
It was beneficial, especially when you added the children.
Oh, yes. They different, but they both got to let them take the test.
I am.
My love language was acts of service.
All right. You got to show you, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Anybody else that took the test? What is your love language? And they have love language for couples too. All right. Quality time. You like quality time. You like to spend time with your significant other. Anybody else? If they love language? Physical. Oh, you touchy.
Okay.
You like to touch. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. We all express ourselves differently. And we have to let people know that. And that, you know, and I said something, communication eliminates confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Communication eliminates confusion. Where there's no communication, there's confusion. But to eliminate the confusion, communicate.
Yes.
Well, Facebook Live, that's all we have for you tonight. And if you wanted the quiz to take to know your love language, hit us up on Facebook and we'll shoot it to you. But we hope and pray that something was said to you tonight. I want to thank our evangelist Betty Kuti. Thank her for joining us tonight by Zoom all the way from Dallas, Texas. And we want to thank Sister Amy for embracing us on this stage tonight. Wonderful job. We thank y'all so much tonight. And we hope that we have helped somebody. That is our purpose. That is our goal. That we can help another sister, another brother out. And we're all in this thing together. Singles chat. We thank you for coming to the chat room tonight. See you next month.